that's enough of that. How's everybody doing? Let me get this camera back on. Come on. It's funny how it kind of goes to sleep. Oh, that's better. Right, who've we got here? Enzo, Dry, how are you doing? And Sean. Anybody else lurking in the shadows? Well, today it is titled Guitar Lesson, so there's nothing planned, but I thought it'd be a good idea. I could just show you things, random things that I'm kind of working on, really. Chromatic things with involving arpeggios and scale notes and things like that, which I really enjoy doing at the minute. A lot of it's kind of coming from the Greg Howe book. A lot of it's coming from my own brain, believe it or not. So we can do that. But if there's something in particular that you want to know, and something that you see me regularly playing and you think, oh, I wouldn't mind knowing more about that, or what to do, or how to start my own kind of licks like that, maybe I can help. So this will be a good opportunity for you to ask those questions. How about that? So anything come to mind? Actually, you woke up in time, yay. Good to see you on here. Just having a bit of a jam. It's a bit of a guitar lesson, that's if anybody can think about anything that they want to know. Other than that. Because I mean, I can just show you something. But then it's better to be more kind of proactive than reactive, because I might show you something that bores you and you wanna leave then. That's the only problem. Hey John. Please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Welcome for the first time then. How you doing? I'm from the UK. Right. I think it's going to start a new track. Okay. So, hi to all the people here who are new. Please do subscribe. Yes, I do play nines. Thanks, Chili. Chili knows everything about what goes on here. I think Chili must know absolutely everything I use. So, very cool. Great tone. Right, I'm not sure. Ro, hit sing live. Pleased to meet you. Yes, so please do subscribe. And don't do covers, but I did do a little kind of Eric Johnson thing. I mean, I suppose he's never been influenced, but there are some similarities in my playing, maybe his playing. That slightly fusion approach to pentatonic scales is one thing. I'll just line this camera up a bit better so you can see more of the guitar. It's just the gestures you have to use for this gimbal, so it works. Right, there we go. It's on. Something about me. Oh, right. So, something about me. I've been playing guitar for a very long time. I've played since I was 8 years old. I started playing classical guitar. And then my parents allowed me to have a rock guitar, and then my kind of rock dreams surely started from there. But it was I was kind of inspired to make music my entire career. I'm a full-time musician. Because I watched Michael J. Fox on Back to the Future, and I thought I needed to be just like him to be popular. And then I realised it didn't make me that popular. I ended up in my bedroom practising like loads and loads of hours. But eventually, after pupating into a caterpillar, I turned into a little bit of a butterfly that kind of flapped about a bit, and things picked up from there. Long blonde hair equals guitar power. It can do, although my last haircut wasn't that good. I'm not that happy with it. But never mind. Sometimes he kind of goes off on one, the hairdresser, and I wasn't watching what I was doing. Hey, I'm good, thank you. So today I did put a guitar lesson. This is an opportunity to have a bit of a guitar lesson if there's something that you want to particularly know on guitar, or something that I play and you want to know how I do it, or how to start doing it, or maybe just something completely different, then this could be a good chance. Oh, there you go. I've really gotten into improvisation lately. You've partly to thank for that. That's brilliant. I mean, improvisation is, you've got to be brave, but it's well worth doing, because, music's a language, and it's incredibly powerful to be able to sit and express one's emotions as a metaphor through an instrument. You can have a really shitty, horrible day, and then instead of swearing at everybody, you can pick your guitar up and swear at everybody through that. There we go. Or you can just, and then bring yourself down into a nice calm mood. But either way, it's just a really nice thing to be able to just express some emotion, isn't it, through an instrument, even if it's just strumming a chord. How do you make the pentatonic jazzy? Mind you, I'd never say I'm kind of jazzy, but there is jazz influences, and the reason that I kind of ended up doing that was simply because I was getting bored. But technically, like the very basic, simple question is, there's probably a couple of different levels to this. There is the rock chromatic approach, and then there's a slightly more kind of worked out jazz fusiony chromatic sort of approach. So the rock approach would be this. Now, if we take what key was it in? C sharp minor. I'll tell you what, we'll stick it in E minor, because it's a good one to teach in. And I'll just get the track that I like in E minor. Because it's not too banging. Right, bear with me. E minor, fusion. Right, we'll just use this, and I'll turn it down a bit. Right, so the simple way is, it's like if you have a pentatonic scale like this. There's Chili. Music is one of the best forms of therapy, self-expression, mood regulation. Okay, so we've got basically 5 notes every octave, and then what you can do is just basically fill each part of this scale. And I know this is really basic, but it does work with chromatic notes. For example, like that. So all I'm doing is, if you see this shape, all I'm doing is this. And if you do it in time with the music, it sounds intentional and it's pretty good. And you can do something like that and then give people like some sort of blues lick or something that they're familiar with. Maybe it's before and after. Doing something weird helps. And you can make little phrases up. Now, a tip when you're getting into chromatic stuff is if you practice it slowly, like a half time, and you get it to groove, and if it sounds good, it's going to work, right? Pretty much guaranteed. Okay, let's think of this bit. So here, we've got that those 3 notes. We could have a... We've obviously got the flat 5 blues bit here. No worries there. So you can start, you can hear, I mean, what you're practicing here, right, is you're using the pentatonic notes because we're really familiar with that. So obviously your ears are trained to that sound. You know instinctively exactly what that pentatonic sound is. So this is a great starting point. And then what we're doing is we're using those notes as targets, and then we're filling in everything else. We're colouring in all the gaps with chromatic notes, okay? Now, the tip here is, without being too thinky about it, is that you want to be aiming to have your target notes, i.e. notes of the pentatonic scale, landing like on a beat, okay? And then everything else is like on a beat that's like less important. So that's like a good starting point. So that's the first thing we started with. So I just thought I wanted to end on the roof. Just stack all those chromatic notes up. So what you might notice there is I'm using those chromatic notes to build tension and then release the tension. So if you're thinking, oh God, I'm getting too melodic and too sickly here, I'm giving the audience too much sugar, right? I'm going to make them too fat. Then you can starve them out a bit with some chromatic notes, yeah? Something melodic, tension. Right, so I'm starting to move out of that shape now. Right, does that make sense before I move on? How do you achieve such precision in your playing? I mean, we know a ton of practice, but what really helped? That's a very good question. I think what really helps me is having a sort of clear vision of what I want my overall sound to be. So at first I used to be a serious alternate picking kind of dude, right? And then there was a few limitations I was finding. I was finding it quite difficult to play stuff that was odd note groupings on strings. And like when I could play them, I'd have to really think about hard. So it was stopping me at that point because I'm really want to improvise, right? If I'm playing and I'm starting to have to really think too hard about the technique, then it becomes an issue, and I'm not playing ideas as good as I would like. I'm thinking about the technique, which is like less important. So like everything's been a journey of just trying to find a technique or combining techniques that would give me the freedom to be able to listen to the music and not worry about this, because the most important thing is to listen to the music, isn't it? And it's very difficult. And even like top players do this, you know, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're going on there and you're just you're thinking about what you want to eat, right? And struggling with your playing and not listening to the music, so you have a gig that's not as good. Whereas other times when you're listening to the music, you completely forget being, to be fair. You're just kind of there, aren't you, playing. So it's trying to get that balance, really. Now, what the conclusion came to with me is I just really like the fluid sound of legato. So everything I do is legato. And I started really with trying to do as much legato as I could without any sort of articulation. Now, like, I introduce more kind of right hand articulation into licks, and I'll probably show you one of those, like a very recent type example. But for me, it's getting the fluid, the isolation of notes. So, you know, when we're doing legato, it's as much about all the muting that's going on as it is the legato itself. The other thing is, which is more important than all of that, is like learning to relax. Like sometimes we're just too tense, but just allowing all the tension out of your body, out of your hands, which I know is quite difficult if you're not used to this. And then being able to play without tension. So that's how you get that very fluid sound. I mean, there I'm just doing hammers only. There's no right hand involved. So I suppose a really good point in getting fluid and getting the isolated sound is just take a scale, take C major, and notice that basically the first finger's muting all the strings below, and then the first finger mutes the string above. Now this hand here actually gives the string a little bit of muting, and I like that because on the lower strings it's like adding a bit of compression. The attack of the note comes out a little bit better. You hear that difference? And then this hand just rolls, muting all the lower strings, whilst the first finger's muting everything below it, plus the string above it. So you actually end up, you know, when you're doing this right, with double muting with that first finger. And then the other thing, which is like a thing Tom Quayle talks about a lot, is like got probably the best legato, is like just the note grouping. So because we a lot of the time as shredders we're playing, because we're playing 3 notes a string, it's very easy, and I get caught into this trap where we end up locked into triplets, which is fine as long as we want to do that with intention. But when we're kind of playing fast and we don't want that, it becomes a bit of an issue. So really we have to sort of know, we have to be able to at least feel where the beat of the music is when we're doing legato. So the problem with this is when you count through the scale, say if we're just doing groups of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now my first group of 1 starts on this first finger, 2, 3, 4, and then the next one you're on the second finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's the 4th finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, first 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it changes descending. So that's quite a lot to take in. And because we haven't got this hand picking and giving us a rhythm, then what we have to do is we have to be able to feel the rhythm when we're doing legato. So that's part of it till we start introducing the pick and doing stuff. But that's like another thing. So being able to do that so it's smooth and we're not hearing the string changes as much is a really good start. So I hope that answers the question there. So questions are great. I mean, I enjoy answering questions. Yeah, Zenzo's point. You can't. There is a bit of a schedule, but you can't. You know, if you email me, it is. You could get the lesson. So emails there. Anybody who's interested. I'm going to try and do as much as I can here. Modesty holds me back. Very good. I'll check on him. I'll email him today. Well, I'll send him a message on Discord. So I hope that kind of helps. So the precision, legato and muting. Other things that give you precision, techniques that help you are, like, I found economy picking to be great, and in particular, basically, hybrid picking is really good because it allows you to just skip strings seamlessly and to do stuff that would be very difficult and thinky with a pick. What is the sweet spot for tension? How do you find it in the pentatonic? Right, that's a really good question. I'll tell you why. Because it's down to what your tastes are. And what you find is the more you get a taste for the pentatonic scale, the more you get a taste for the tension of chromatic with the pentatonic, the kind of more of an outside vibe that you want to get. So at first I was a little bit, I'm going a bit too far with the sound of this pentatonic tension. But actually I wasn't. It was just because my ears weren't trained to that. So it's just about kind of conditioning your own ear to learning that. And that's what I found with licks, actually. When you learn a lick, so I've got, like, there's this little lick I've picked up, which is actually based on, like, a G major 7 arpeggio, loosely. And it's like something like... Now this would be over E minor, and actually when you break it down, we've got this chromatic stuff going on here, and we've got a major third which is really outside. And you've got this sort of enclosure where the approach note is on C. It's on an F. Again, this F in E minor is very out. And you've actually got that chromatic notes on a main beat as well. So one thing it has got is it's got a bit of a rhythm to it, so you're going to get away with it. And then the tension releases as we get into the arpeggio. So let's see what it sounds like. What's interesting is it's the more I play it, the less outside it starts sounding. And I think one of the factors contributing to that is the fact that my groove was locking in more, so it was becoming more and more intentional. And then your ears becoming more and more like, okay, that's okay, is it like meant to play that? And then the more sort of tension I release at the end of that phrase, the more you realise that it's actually like, that's a cool sound. That's what I think anyway. All right. So you use techniques, right, that allow you to do that. So how do you achieve actually in playing odd number of notes on different strings? Let's say 2 notes on different strings and 2 notes. Right. Yeah. So there's a lick that I do. I don't really do it picking anymore, but let me see if I can remember it. All right. This one. On. When I remember it. Right. So that, what I'm playing there, is this weird kind of note grouping thing. go. We're getting there. Now, I'm using economy picking, okay? And the cool thing about economy picking, right, is that it gets you around all of the angles. In fact, I'll give you a better example. As we're in the key, something slightly less complicated, that's easier to learn and understand. It'll just be a 3-note per string idea, right? So if we just take E minor, all right, this part of the scale. Now, you'll have 3 notes per string. Now, the problem with 3 notes per string, okay, is that the picking angle is going to change, right? So I'm doing alternate picking there, and you can actually see the movements I'm doing there. So I'm having to start in an upward slant in order to get the pick over the string. If I get the camera to stop there, let's see if I can get... moving more away from it, aren't I? There we go. A little bit more. Okay, that makes more sense. So you can see, like, it's an upward slant. And you're getting this movement where I'm exaggerating a bit. In order to get over each string and not get the pick trapped. Because if you get a trapped pick, that's where the bouncing motion comes in. So the pick has to sort of weave through it. Now, the thing with economy picking is we don't have that. You can just go through all the strings. So there, as I'm ascending, it's all down, 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 down. And then when I come back up, that's the only time I've got to do alternate picking because I've got an uneven number of notes. So I've got to do an inside motion. And then it's basically economy going up, up, up. So the picking is down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And actually Rick Graham had just done a video talking about how to get economy picking to sound like picking, and he was talking about note displacement. Now what he means about note displacement is how you were attacking the strings. This is an important bit. So to attack the string, what we're doing is we're pushing. It's more of a pushing motion. And there, if I turn, I'll just turn the guitar volume off and you can hear the attack of the pick. So you can hear how loud you can get that. And it's a very reliable technique. So you can get it to sound like alternate picking, is the point. I mean, the fact of the matter for me is that actually when you start getting into economy picking, you have more dynamic range. From light to really hard. So then, because we're doing economy picking, we're not fussed about what picking direction we're using most of the time when we're changing strings. So therefore, you can do 2 notes, 3 notes. So there, what I'm doing is this. Just simply... camera, come back. Just this. And that's just 2 notes, 3 notes, and 3 notes. And one thing I'll show you that I do a lot, but it's more legato these days, is like I'll play this shape. It's a pentatonic scale. And it's 3-1-3-1. So I've just got, so on here, I'm on the 5th string and I'm playing frets 7, 10, 12, and then I've got one note on the 9. And then I've got 3 notes, which is 7, 9, 12, one note on 10, and then I've got 7, 10, 12. And that's all picked. Let me see there. There we go. There's no rule. If you feel that that's where the accent... I mean, like, the only rules dictated here is what the music's telling you to do. And this is the thing, right? This is the problem people get into. Is when we're improvising, there's no I about it, okay? And when we're writing music, if you want to write really, really good music, you see, I could do a lot of coaching on sort of... with producers who, you know, want to write tons of music. And one thing that holds people back is this kind of overthinking what they should be doing all the time, as if they like need this guideline and this rule book to do something. And actually, to truly be improvising and to be free of all of that, you need to throw that out and just be able to explore the music. But the approach is to ask yourself, what is the music asking me to do? And if we're doing that, then we're definitely going to be playing along with the music. So again, it's just to experiment. But one thing you might do on one track might be totally different on another track. But this is the beauty of it, because, you know, improvisation especially, and just making original music, it's about, or should be about, art, right? And the difference between like making something that's art and something that's design is this. Art, we don't know what the future is. It's an uncertain future. And remember, as musicians, right, this is where we have the difficulty. We don't like, as human beings, uncertainty. But as artists, we like uncertainty, because that is where we're going to find new things. I mean, look at Alan Holdsworth, right? He was all about uncertainty and exploring what that was. And like, look how far he drove guitar forward, because he was just interested in what could be next, you know? No idea, he couldn't plan it. He just had certain theories and things that he would do to experiment, to like expand what he was doing over time. And that's, you know, he's like one of the guys who I would say is definitely dealing with uncertainty. But as humans, we like certainty, so we will go and tend to lean to things. So if I make the first note of every string louder, then that's okay. It might be, it sounds okay, but actually what you need to do is just experiment and find out, you know, what else kind of works, what else could you do? I think players like, who I just think are absolute gods, like Wayne Krantz, who I've slightly got, I mean, I can only watch him out of one eye because he's that good, right? And that musical, I'm in absolute awe of him, and I just think, hold on, I'm like totally a beginner compared to this guy, right? They're totally free. I mean, Wayne Krantz is at a point where, you know, in his career, he's saying, well, you don't have to learn scales to play music. Because his ear is so good, he can play he can just play anything and he can make it right. So I hope that answers the question, you know. So I think we're going to be in C sharp minor now. I'm here, guys. Just camera's switching off. 2 seconds. Come back on, there we go. Might cut off a few times, but should come back on fully. Alright, so hopefully, it's because like now I've got a convection heater, you see, which means I've got a heater without a fan in it. It gets left on and then the room gets too hot for the camera. So it's absolutely boiling in here. It's like the Mediterranean. So as you're playing now, do you have any tension in the hands? No. But sometimes tension can build up. It's something that you have to practice, okay? Like sometimes you can just get really stressed and start like digging into your guitar too hard, and that's not a good thing. Yeah, it overheated the Sean, yeah. So you've just got to like remind yourself of that and relax. So I think like a good thing to do though when that happens is almost like a body scan type meditation. Is like when I'm playing and I feel tension kicking in, is locate the part of my body or part of my hand. That's going to be this hand if it's going to get tense, or my wrist, and just locate that point and just focus on it. And then I feel like that tension goes. But I'll show you a good this is a really good, like for legato, how to get rid of that tension. So a lot of times is when we're kind of just doing, when you're doing your legato, if you notice here, my first finger, can you see how the first finger moves? Now, what that having movement in that first finger releases all the tension in your hand, and it honestly it works so much. Like this massively improved my playing. So if you can work out to get that moving, now it doesn't have to come right off the fretboard. Mine's almost like touching the string. It's just a slight movement. but it's relaxing, and that actually releases all the tension in the hand. And then you'll be able to do legato forever. The other thing to do is just practice like putting your fingers under tension and releasing the tension. So, in other words, if you just take chromatic exercise. This isn't really about speed, but what it's about is this. So you hammer's only, no pick. These three fingers are relaxed, this one's under tension. Second finger's under tension, all the other fingers are relaxed. Third finger's under tension, all fingers are relaxed. Fourth finger's under tension, all of these are relaxed. So also keep a soft touch as you can, only use as much force as it takes, yeah. So in other words, you can find the point. One moment. I'll come back on. I can feel the temperature of the room dropping now. Let's see what's side of my head. Yeah, so and then obviously the action of your fingers when you're doing legato is important as well. So I imagine my fingers like little hammers on a piano. Put the hammer on. And I try and do the least amount of pull. Because I don't like the sound of the note being pulled out of tune when the pull off is too aggressive, you know, I'm not keen on that sound. So alright, I think we should play some more tracks. Tell you what, I'll do something legato-y and then Nice tune to do legato over that one. Right, let's check the chat. Sorry about the camera, guys. Camera overheating, yes. So do subscribe. Camera won't overheat next time. I'm going to control the heat. Bro, hitting your legato masterclass. Thank you. Yeah, I thought I'd wear my Boba Fett shirt. What do you reckon? I'll tell you what, I've been working very hard today and I haven't had any coffee. You sound like I want to sound. Well, that's nice. That's a lovely comment. I would like to think I'm just your starting point, though. Look. That's very kind, Tony. But I think the thing is consistency in your playing. That's the thing. I mean, how do we measure the consistency? And for me, one of the biggest contributing factors for me improving has been actually just doing the streams. Simply coming on here, because you're only as good as your last gig, and I kind of believe that to a certain point, and I know that's quite hard. But fundamentally, why? I mean, yes, we're doing music for our own enjoyment and what have you. But if you're wanting to be a performer and you're wanting to go out there, then really what you have to be doing is kind of doing that very thing, and that can be difficult. Hi, Mec, how are you doing? And the way around that is exposure, isn't it? And the one thing that's really good about streaming is that we've got control over that. We can go on live and we can play a bit and then we can switch it off. And then we can watch back our performance, record every one and review what we're doing. And then we can just course correct and modify and look at all the things that we're doing that need attention. Because this is one problem that a lot of people have, is how do you know what to practice? What needs practicing? A lot of the time we're just, I've got to do my scales because that's what you do. And I know some people have a regiment practice thing. But for me, what I tend to do is I'll play, I can't remember half my licks today. That's my problem. So I need to kind of remember what I'm doing. What do we practice? How do we know what to practice? Well, the best way is to play in front of people. And then that's the truth. If you look at yourself like an experiment and you record that, that's actually what was happening at that time. And if you remove yourself from the person who you're watching, i.e. that's not you, what sort of advice would you give that person in order to improve? What would be the next thing that they need to work on in order to gain improvement? And basically that's what I do. And and the way I do it actually is after here, when I'm on my way to work, is I just get ChatGPT up, right? And I just talk into it, and I have a particular model I use, which is very simple. It's just I talk about all the wins. You've got to talk about all the things that went well, because when we're playing and doing something like this and things aren't going well, as human beings, we tend to just pick up on the negatives. But actually, you want to be doing the positives first and feeling good about the things that you did achieve, because that's really important, and it makes you subconsciously more open to taking on the future challenges, which inevitably you'll have to do. So the next part of that is problems, and problems is where all the goodness is for me. So I'll talk about all of the problems, and then the trick with the problems is then to work out which is the biggest problem that needs solving, and then work on that, and then come up with multiple opportunities for that. So I'll talk about things like, what exercises do I know now that I could practice? What possible things could I search for and find through books, or heaven forbid, YouTube. You know, where can I get the knowledge that I need in order to acquire or develop that skill? And that's how I do it, you know. And I think that's probably one of the most important things that I've done in my practice. So I consider, well, I've stopped naming them practice sessions. Like I consider this sitting here and playing in front of you guys and talking. It's all part of the practice. So that tone that I'm playing, right? That's Polychrome DSP. So Polychrome is like an amazing company, and I don't use anything else but their stuff. I'm a real fan of this amp. It's called Nunchuck. I'll just I'll get it up for you. You can see it. Yeah, that's what I use. Nunchuck. Looks amazing. It's essentially it's just it's a modded Marshall, and you get 4 different flavors: clean, vintage, hot rod, and then high gain. Really well laid out. So you got like all your drive pedals, an octavator. Speaker chains are amazing. They're not just like basically IRs. They're actually fairly modded up, and there's been lots of stuff done to them to make them sound beautiful. I really like this room thing here. This is pretty cool. Simulates a room. Got basically the post effects like EQ, and then we've got the post effects, reverb and delay. So everything you need. But one thing that's really cool is you got the speaker voice. So if you've got, but like recording, this is a thing that I'll do. Often you'll get the speaker edit, you'll get like frequencies that really ring. Like, hear that? And you can just notch it out. So I used to have to do that with an EQ, but I don't. I can just go straight in and take it out. So I like that. That's really good. The speaker edit, speaker voice, speaker edit. There we go. Very handy. So just saves me from, like, I don't have to load FabFilter, because that's what I'd do. I'd use FabFilter, and then I'd have to go find ringing frequencies, and then basically pull them out. Don't really have to do that. I can do that inside the cab, and I can modify the tone of the cab to make it, you know, to basically mold the exact sound I want. It's brilliant, especially like in the studio when you're recording. Really good. Yeah, getting your own tone's an interesting one. How do you get that? I mean, I particularly like spongy tones. I don't like tones that overemphasize my picking attack, because I do legato. So there are certain things I like. I like warmth. I don't like things too bright. I do like gain, but then I also like dynamics. So there's all of these things which I try and search for in an amp. So that's quite a lot, isn't it? Really, to try and find that, especially in a bit of software. And like Nunchuck has that. Yay. Hi, Steve. So do we have any more questions? Anybody else want to talk about anything else? I should really play some of my band stuff, shouldn't I? Alright, yeah, so Dunlop floors, so this is what it looks like. So I use these. And that's 1mm. I like the curved bevel on this, right? Because you get nice string slip. I like the lighter picks because they're not as chirpy as the thick. I used to use 2mm and they used to be very chirpy. These aren't, and also there's kind of more attack, and I have more control with this pick. So if I want to remove some of the attack of the pick for the legato, I can. So that's something I do work on quite a bit. If you listen to that, if I'm using the pick and doing this technique, I'm trying to remove the sound of the pick, but I'm still using it. A bit like Alan Holdsworth does. But it requires you to use... You need a lot of control to do it. You have to use displacement. And you kind of just lightly pushing the pick through the strings. Yeah, you get the knack of holding them, but then again, and I hold them very, very lightly as well. I like it because it's a relaxation thing. So even when I'm picking, it's kind of, yeah, beveled. That's the way to go. I always wondered, is it wasted, like drunk? It's all of those things. It's entirely up to the author to have whatever meaning they want. I just found the sample and went, oh, that's wasted, and I thought, oh, that sounds good. I'll just slap that on a track. Yes, it's been great having you on here, Chili. Yeah, nice to be able to get here early rather than at the end. Need to go to work now. Have a great day. Have a nice day in work. Working on your second track. Yeah, I'm going to have a listen. I heard a bit of your track. Yes, Chili, your track. You sent me it. It's pretty cool. I'm going to have another listen today. Liking it. The synths sound really good on it. Obviously, your guitar's pretty cool as well. So really good. Find my cell phone number in the zone of playing. I make a circle motion while playing. There you go. Bye, Chili. Vaporwave time. Hey, love from India, thank you. So, alright, my search got to go now, so I'll see you on the next one. Love from India. Love back from the UK. What wah are you using? I'm using the QC. It's the QC. Is it QC95 Dunlop? All right. So yeah, the wah is the QC95. But actually, at some point, I need to get a decent MIDI one. I don't think I've ever seen you play an acoustic. Do you? I do. At work, I play acoustic all day long. So all the time. It's just I'm endorsed by Kiesel. And I don't have a Kiesel acoustic guitar. And if I brought my work guitar on here, I'd be breaking my contract. So that's why, really, like, next guitar I get from them should be an acoustic, to be fair. Alright guys, so that is me done for today. So I'm going to now head off and enjoy my coffee. See you on the next one, and take care. Bye.